Hello and welcome to Center for Victory's podcast of Your Best Day Yet. At Center for Victory, we're here to help unlock, reinforce, and enrich relationships through personal and professional development. My name's Eric Guy, Chief Victory Officer at the Center for Victory. Here with me today is one of my great friends, Mr. Tim McCarthy from the Business of Good. Tim, I want to jump right into it. Just let's get into it because we've got a lot of great meat today and some great wisdom that you're going to give us today.
Good luck on that.
This month we've been talking about in February about getting your heart right. So you have a great story, but before we get to that story, would you mind just giving us a little bit of background about Mr. Tim?
Sure. Old guy, 1952, born, ninth of 10 kids, Ashtabula, Ohio. So a small town kid. Went to Ohio State. Probably about 15 years after I graduated, I got kicked out of a very big job, C-level job in a big corporation, and started my own business. 19 years later, sold it into private equity for $48 million. Took the money and invested it all in the Business of Good, which is our foundation. And we're still involved in a lot of businesses, but all of the businesses like Raising Cane's of Ohio, chicken figure chain. My son started the Ohio franchise.
Yes.
And but everything I do is in the service work, and most of that service is to invest in long-term solutions to poverty. Probably the one we'll talk about today is banking the unbankable. We get involved. We've been involved in probably, I don't know, over 12 or 13 years, probably 500 businesses. In my local, in my county, it numbers just over 100. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today is one of them, right? You were interested?
Yeah, we're going to talk about,
Cool.
without using names, you have a gentleman, this is kind of a preview to some of the questions I'm going to ask you, but
Okay.
give us kind of, when I asked you to be on, you talked about, one of the words that came to mind was pace, and this entrepreneur. Just give us a little bit of background about this entrepreneur, and then I'll get into some of those questions about getting our heart right.
So about, I would guess at least 8 years ago, I fell in love with a local maple farmer, a 30-year-old guy, because I just loved what he did. He did it because his great grandpa did it.
Yeah.
And he was kind of bringing the farm back slow but sure. Unbelievable sales guy, just a brilliant, and that's where he made good money. Did the maple syrup on the side, and then decided he wanted to really fully go into it. So I helped him leverage and help him get in business, and he just exploded. He's just such a brilliant salesman. He went from 50,000 annual sales to 3 million.
Wow.
And then he ran into the wall. He exploded. And I think if you're looking for heart was right or heart wasn't, the reason I fell in love with the cat is his heart's always been right. He's just a beautiful guy with a beautiful family. He's now probably 40 or 39.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a beautiful guy, but he has what I like to call voluntary ADD. And so he's flying from squirrel to squirrel, right. So,
Yeah, and we're used to that kind of thing, you and I. Yeah. And
yeah, well, since we are that.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yes. That was my first question was, why you were attracted to this particular.
Oh.
So his heart's, you see.
He's just he's a heart right guy. He has that thing that you and I have where we really want to be right in 4 squares: spiritual, physical, mental, and social. And I saw that in him right from the beginning. He's a guy that, whether it's playing basketball or being with his 3 boys or, being at church or whatever, he's right-hearted.
Yeah. So let's talk about Tim a little bit, because I think this is good information for the folks listening to this and watching this. What were you like, Tim, when your heart was wrong?
Oh boy. I was my young friend, and I was actually probably older than him. My heart went completely wrong when I was 42. When I ended up in the hospital having what me and the doctors thought were heart attacks, and turned out to be anxiety attacks. And so I went into psychotherapy for 2.5 years. When I was released, I was encouraged to go into meditation.
Hmm.
Meditation was the place where I was able to get my heart right. As I guess the real truth, Eric, is like Nate. My heart was overall right, but it was racing, and therefore I never settled into, you know, a true appreciation of situations and a true, I just didn't. The heart wasn't. The heart was on. The heart was probably right, but it was on too high of a pace. Does that sound weird or?
No, I think that's, I think we all get into that, and I think a lot of the people that listen to this want this kind of feedback. Like, okay, your heart's in the right, kind of in the right place, but it's going way too fast. Sometimes we put our heart ahead of our head. You and I have had that discussion many times. Um, are there some things like, how did you start to learn to tend to your heart first?
Well, first was I was lucky. Physical episodes
Yeah.
scared me to death, and therefore I knew I had to do something. When the physical doctor finally said, "Dude, we've done everything that we can do for you. It's now time to get right in your mental," which I think is kind of related to what you said. And
Right.
so I spent probably, well, I've spent the rest of my life trying to get right mentally.
And what
To
are
get
some?
right in my heart, making it match my brain, requires, in my case, for me to slow down.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Great question, because it's been an acquiring and a growing that remains today. I'm still not as fully heart mind connected as I wish to be, but I've gotten better every year for whatever that is, 20, 25 years. Gosh, yeah, it's 25 years. Um, I first I have a professionally administered prescription. It's called Celexa, and as it was prescribed to me for anxiety, my doctor told me, thankfully, this doesn't do anything for you, Tim. All it does is allow you to do your work.
Uh-huh.
So if you just think you're taking pills and that's going to make you good, you're going to be really disappointed. And so I started my work. My work every day to this day, since then and to this day, my work every day includes meditation.
Hmm.
It's a practice called Vipassana, which means bare attention. It's the simplest of the Eastern practices, and it helps me greatly. It's just trying to center my heart and my mind on my breath and see what comes up. Learn that it's temporary. Therefore, my feelings visit me and then let me go. I let them go. I let them in my house and I let them out. I was taught to see them as visitors. And that's probably the most important thing I do. I also run 3 miles every other day. In fact, I'll be going to that right after this. I play guitar and sing at least 3, 4 times a week. Most of the time, just on my couch to myself. I have a spiritual practice. I pray each morning, and I go to service on Sunday. I think that's about it.
But I want to know how much of what you do now. I know the answer to this. I think how much of what you do now tends to your heart,
Oh, 100%, because all of it leads back to my heart.
which is.
Oh, live for others. Um, Imagine having all that money and I won't get, I don't want a second home. I don't want a yacht. I don't want an airplane. I don't want anything because I get all that I need out of service to others. I get my yayas every day with working with cats like Eric Guy, and working with cats like my maple farmer.
Yeah.
and another 100 of you morons. You know, I love you guys. I love anybody that's in their 40s, you know, that has a great heart. I love working with, because all I'm doing is seeing myself at a younger age.
Yeah.
And so all those practices, back to your question and the simple answer, is all those practices are so that when I'm with someone, my presence can be enough because I'm just in my heart. And so I listen more actively, and I wait for the student to arrive. And I used to think I had to be a teacher first.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. Yeah. I mean, this is, I love this stuff. I could just talk to you forever. Sometimes we do. But last question. Who are the people?
You know why we talk, by the way, right?
What's that?
You know why we talk
Why
so
is that?
much? It's because at the end of every conversation, I suspect your heart's the same as mine, which is you help make my heart right.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for that.
And I
Go back to your last question and we'll blow this pop stand.
Who are the people you most admire for having their heart right?
Oh, wow. So I'm a longtime follower of the simple path, which is Mother Teresa's silence brings prayer, prayer brings faith, faith brings love, love brings service. I think that's it. I probably have it in the wrong order. So I admired her and her career as a person who always was able to combine the head and the heart, because she certainly got a lot of work done,
Yeah.
in her lifetime. And then I can tell you honestly, this is kind of funny. It just came to me though. Everyone that I've been able to create a relationship with in Timmy's business, which is a lot of the frontline people in a fast food place. Timmy and I sit in workshops with them at least twice a month.
Uh-huh.
They inspire the hell out of me. That's when my heart's right. When I meet somebody that's been through childhood abuse and, oh my, bankruptcy, and I mean, just horrible life experiences that still want to grow in the Raising Cane's brand and stuff. I hope that's an interesting answer to your question, because those are the people I admire most. When you can have your heart right when you're not even safe at home,
Yeah.
my goodness, I admire those people. So they inspire the heck. Honestly, every time we get done with the workshop, almost always my last words are to the people who think I was there to inspire them, tell them how much they inspired me and why they do.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that answer, but that was a great answer.
I wasn't either. Just
Any,
came as I was thinking. My heart was right when you asked it, maybe.
it may be. Any other tips for anybody listening or watching, Tim, to just really get their heart right?
Yeah, probably the thing it's again, this is just coming to me this moment. Uh, um, Most of the time, your heart's not right. You're not being forgiving of yourself.
Mm.
And that was way important for me. That was probably the biggest. And so if I left this podcast with any enduring thought, it would be gentle to yourself. Your heart won't get right if you're forever criticizing yourself, and if you're forever trying to be some level of perfection that somehow you expected of yourself or something. Just enjoy being wrong and live with your wrongness, and be open to just progress.
I think I needed to hear that again, because I think you told me that the last time you were here in Pittsburgh.
You are a guy who is an overachiever,
I
like I
appreciate
was when I was your age.
I appreciate you so much, Tim. And I hope our viewers and listeners get a lot out of this. But that's all for today, folks. Really thanks for watching. Make sure you leave the video a like and leave a comment down in the sections below. We'd also appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon to get notified the next time we post. If you'd like more information, you could go visit our website at centerforvictory.com. Tim, tell them your website, Business of Good.
Thebusinessofgood.org. Just the 4 words. Thebusinessofgood.org. Feel free. It's all free. It's all just for sharing of kindred spirit.
Yes, and I would strongly encourage you to go there. And you put out a newsletter at the first of every month, which I absolutely love. And please keep doing that. And I would encourage.
Along with a joke and a song and a book and a whatever, just for fun.
Yeah. But thanks a bunch, Tim. And just remember, all of you out there that are listening and watching, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make sure you make this your best day yet. See you next time.